Welcome back to AGN Football. Let's talk. Let's get straight into it. Arsenal won the North London derby by 2 goals to 1 yesterday. Should have been by many, many more. I've got Marty back again, a regular contributor to many channels, including AFTV. Welcome back, Marty. Great to see you again. How are you feeling after yesterday?
Yeah, look, thanks for having me back on, Adam. Really grateful, really appreciate it, mate. And do you know what? How am I feeling after yesterday? Tired, tired. It was a
Mm,
long day. It was a long
mm,
night, but we got the result and we got the points that we needed, which was the most important thing out of the situation. And yeah, it was. And to be honest, it's been a long day, but there is nothing better in these games than beating Tottenham. Let's have it right.
no,
Whether you're 25 points in front of them, you're 19 points in front of them, or you're 3 points in front of them, or they're in front of you. For me, the feeling is still the same, and
mm,
the importance of this game and what it means to the fans and what it means to the club. It's a
mm,
deep-seated rivalry, and it was played out in many, many ways last night. And
mm,
there are lots of examples of a
mm,
true North London derby. And the only thing, if I'm honest with you, which wasn't there, which usually is a red card in these games. There
yeah.
usually is a red card, or there's a decision that will
Mm,
turn that will either not be given that goes to a red card,
mm,
or gets given and is red, or more bookings. I think there was only 3 bookings in the whole match or something like that. I know Sarr
mm,
got booked, Havertz got booked,
mm,
and someone else, I can't remember who else got booked. And look, it was a we started out really well. We camped out in their half, and then they sort of hit us out on the counter. With a great Raya save. Then they had the corner. Son sticks away, a fantastic goal, bottom corner. Not a lot Raya could do about that. And their
mm,
fans are celebrating. Their players are celebrating in front of our fans, and then when we're 1-0 down, and I touched on this in a couple of interviews last night, which I really didn't like seeing, and I feel really strongly about this. This is the importance of the North London derby. Is when you had players like Zinchenko and Martinelli, and I'm going to name them. Zinchenko more than Martinelli, but Zinchenko was high-fiving and talking to the Tottenham subs. Obviously, he was on the subs warming up in front of me, and he's talking to all the subs more than he was his own team.
yeah.
And then obviously, and I saw Martinelli doing it with Charlison, and then when they both come on in, I don't know, 70 odd minute, Richarlison's trying to take his legs out, and also listen on the national team, Richarlison has his position, or
Mm,
they're fighting for the same position. So I don't know what loyalty there is there. And I remember, I spoke about the story again. With Gary Neville was, I remember what I
mm,
loved hearing the old England camps. Those golden era England camps
mm,
where you used to have the Manchester United table, the Tottenham table, the Chelsea table. And I'm not saying off the ball. I do like this new England camp set up where they all seem to get on. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors because I'm not there, but
mm,
but obviously, I imagine they get on. Listen, leave it on the pitch. But when you're
yeah.
when you're playing on the pitch and you're 1-0 down and you're high fiving players, that I don't like that. Listen,
It's not
when
on.
it's game time, it's game time. It would be like
Yeah.
now if I'm on this and I'm talking to my kids are running around and I'm talking to them and stuff like that. I'm
Mm,
not focused on what I'm doing and the task at hand, and that
mm,
I found very disrespectful to the club and to the players that have gone before. And I think maybe that's where I think ex-players, I mean, listen, Arteta understands it, so I would imagine he would have dealt with that in house afterwards. And then obviously, what I like, we leveled up. Was it a corner? That ball goes to the corner, which then gives the Tottenham very kindly scored for us, which I was very
mm,
grateful of. And then 4 minutes later, the ball gets played across from Odegaard to Trossard, sticks it in the bottom corner. Goalkeeper Vicario, I believe, saves that. And their keeper, I mean, he realised the difference, the jump up in difference last
mm,
night. He was under a lot of pressure. His kicking wasn't that good at all. It was very basic. It was very kind of get rid of it. He thought he would have a lot more time than he did. I think he's watched Premier League goalkeepers and how they play out like David Raya. But the reason why David Raya is so good with his feet is because it's his
mm,
first touch. He gets the ball and he knocks it straight out to the side and he plays it
mm,
straight off. So he's made the decisions before the attackers are already rushed onto it. This goalkeeper took the touch, and by the time he's taken the touch, then the players are onto him. Then he's got to take another touch to set himself, and then he's got to kick it. And that's the difference between elite level goalkeepers, and a good goalkeeper and an elite level goalkeeper. But look, it was a fantastic game. It was great to get the win. It was a great atmosphere inside the stadium, and it's a game that I live for.
Yeah, I think it's very well put. I think it's an interesting one for me because I came out of the ground absolutely elated, but like probably most fans yesterday. But I do still think there is an element of that victory perhaps papering over some issues within the club at the moment. Now, those issues for me are the fact that we should have won that game by 4, 5, even 6 goals if we had a clinical finisher up front. We had so many chances to put them away properly, and we didn't do it. Especially their goal.
Mate, we could have buried them like a new corpse, mate. It's
Yeah, yeah.
and that's it. Clinicality up front was again lacking.
It was, and as you said about the goalkeeper just now, Kinski looked really nervous for Spurs. Looked really, really nervous every time he got on the ball. Havertz almost nicked the ball off him once or twice. He was really struggling with the big occasion.
I was just about to say, Adam, you'd look nervous as well if Havertz was flying towards you. Havertz nearly took his legs out in the first 10 minutes, come flying, lunged in at him. Luckily, he got the ball because otherwise he would have been off the pitch. And, and that's what I love seeing. He was hassling him and chasing him down. It was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, in terms of that goalkeeper, I'm not going to single him out because, to be honest with you, he's a very young man, and
single him out, Adam. Single him out. He's a Tottenham player. Singling him out. This is where I go singling him out. It's not like you're lambasting him and you're slagging him off and you're going in on his family. Slag him off. He's a Tottenham goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for.
Yeah, that's it. I do wonder though whether Vicario, who's obviously their mainstay number one, if Vicario's in goal, he saves that Trossard chance.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I believe he does because he's a great shot stopper. He is. Listen, you can't take that away from. I think Vicario for me is one of the great finds in the Premier League as a transfer. It's just he's not that good in the air. He's not that strong in the air, and some of his distribution's not that great.
Yeah. I mean, on the Tottenham side, I saw Ange's post-match interview. He looked absolutely livid, sort of incandescent with rage, and he basically said, "We were terrible. We were absolutely terrible." Yeah. And again, that really crystallizes my view that we should and could have won that game by many, many more. We are satiated because we've won.
Definitely, but I don't think you should gauge a reaction from a Tottenham manager saying that their team are terrible. He's just being honest about Tottenham. I mean, let's have it right. They are terrible. They always have been, and I'm sure they always will be, Adam. So, I wouldn't sound so surprised or so shocked about that statement there.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, I said on a few interviews after the game, I think Aston Villa will be a much, much tougher test. I don't know if you agree with that.
I do 100% because of the Emery factor. And, look, let's have it right. Last season, they done the double over. So, I mean, this season, let's hope we do the double over them. We went to their place, we won 2-0. And that was a tight game. They could have scored. Watkins had a couple of chances. He had the header, which Raya made that fantastic double save where it went to the bar. He goes down, gets him, and he's great reactionary on his second ball. Raya, I love him for that. And then obviously, I believe Trossard had that ball that was put in across from I think Havertz in the 86th minute, and that. That sealed the game, and that was great. I was there, and it was a great atmosphere. It was amazing, and I think they've got some really great players. They've got Ramsey, he's a fantastic midfielder, who's a great talent. They've got Tillemans, he's a decent midfielder. Watkins, but he's out of favour of sorts at the minute. And they have got a very good team. I think in Martinez, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, arguably. And on their day, they can beat any team. But again, it's the consistency factor, and they just don't seem to have been getting it together that well this season. They got battered, I believe, 4-0 by Tottenham, did they, this season again?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
So look, again,
Yeah.
Same with that. Same with that. I mean, look, they can be picked apart and they can be beaten. It's just on their day. And at the moment, this firepower issue. We've just got to hope that we haven't signed anyone yet. Even if we signed anyone tomorrow, they probably wouldn't be eligible to play. I think it's going to go down to the wire. I just do this transfer window. I think they're waiting to see how far Wanyeri is off coming back as to whether they get the guy. I generally believe there's going to be this guy, the right guy. He's going to be coming in summer, 100%. I do, and I believe Supermendi will come, and I believe that we'll get the Vlahovic. Look, for me, Sesko. I don't know whether Sesko's the right signing. He's not that
Mm.
clinical at the moment, so I don't see how he could come to Arsenal and change to being a clinical striker. Isak was clinical before he went to Newcastle, and he still is.
Mm.
So this whole situation is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw the links with Sesko today, and was obviously talking about potentially getting Sesko on loan. You're right. Does that plug the gaps that we need it to right now? I don't think so. But what really worries me and concerns me is the fact that what is out there that's available, what is there in the shop window that Arsenal can get their hands on that really improves Arsenal's season. Um, I don't really know. I can't think of a name off the top of my head that is ostensibly going to come in January.
Well, I think you look the names that we've got out there are Osherman, Gyökeres, Vlahovic, Sesko,
Mm,
and obviously Isak to name a few. But I remember back in the day, when I was talking to a few people, like teams had multitude of strikers. I mean, at one time we had Henri, Wright, Anelka, Bergkamp, we had Wiltord, we had. And then you
mm,
even looked at, I think Sunderland had Kevin Phillips and
mm,
you'd Kevin Nolan, proper out and out number nines. I mean, the Kevin Nolan would get in your face and he'd
yeah,
probably nut you at half time. It's one of those, proper, and he could fit. Listen, let's have it right. The guy could finish. I remember,
yeah,
I was talking. I think it was you. I was talking to about Perez when he came. At
mm,
that time, we had strikers. I mean, everyone said, "Oh, about Giroud." Giroud was an out and out number nine. He scored some fantastic goals, and he's
he did.
France's all time leading goal scorer with, I think, 48 goals or something like that. I might be wrong, but it's it's even that. The Aubameyang situation, I still believe that had to happen. Is Kai Havertz a number nine? I do believe he's a number nine, but you could see in that game. Look, for me, when I watched that game last night, I looked at his body language and what I read from his face, and I just, it was like after a few misses, the crowd started with the It was like
Mm,
it was like. But listen, the geezer's just had his missus threatened, and
mm,
his family compromised. What? Because he couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. I
right.
understand he's on a lot of money, and I understand there's a lot of pressure on him, but that is the wrong pressure, and that is going to
Absolutely.
upset anyone. And that is also going to use what people don't understand as well. I don't think is that those comments and that they might be by some little dickhead, and I don't like to use bad language, sat in his mum's bedroom in the middle of, I don't know, wherever. I'm not going to slag off any certain parts of the country or anything like that, and just sending over vile messages like that,
Mm,
just to be a little twat, basically.
yeah,
But then,
yeah, that's
listen,
it.
Arsenal Football Club will take that seriously, and then what
Mm,
Arsenal Football Club will do is they will use resources that they have to
mm,
to centre around that situation, i.e., the closed protection personnel that they have for their players. That will then get resources and rerouted to
mm,
to focus on Kai Havertz, where it wouldn't have normally necessarily been done before. I mean, they have these resources, but what they don't understand is it's not helping the club. It's actually making the club focus on other stuff which doesn't need to be focused on. What we need to be focused on now is putting the ball in the back of the net and winning the league and
mm,
giving our play. And you could see the confidence levels of him. His confidence is low. You put me in front of any player, and then you'll get people say, "Oh no, but he's rubbish anyway." He's not rubbish. He won the Champions League. He is a good player. If anyone could say to me that he legitimately did not look unconfident, anyone who knows about football, that he didn't look unconfident and he didn't look like he was not a race. He's just recovered from flu. I've just had that recently. It's not too nice, and it's not a good look, and it does stay in your system for a little bit. And he is a human being.
yeah, no, absolutely. That very well said. And I think, I'm going to shout out Ty from AFTV last night. Made some very, very clear and concise points, and I can only reiterate what he said. Any sort of abuse, look, these players, they are open to constructive criticism, but there is a line, and when people go above that line and make it personal, it's absolutely unacceptable. We
Definitely.
cannot stand for it, and these people are not fans. They are, angry, twisted,
Gremlins.
nasty, vile little people who should have no place near the game. So, you want to criticize Kai Havertz, do it constructively. At the end of the day, these people, as you said, Marty, that they're human beings with emotions, feelings, families, babies,
But
girlfriends,
also,
all the
Adam, as
rest of
well, my point where it is, I think someone like that's completely invalid. Listen, if that's the Champions League winner giving him,
it.
not even coming at him like that, but giving him the constructive criticism, then cool. But listen, the guy's won the Champions League. He's won the biggest, I'd say that's the biggest
Exactly.
competition of all. That it's
Yeah.
very hard
Yeah.
to criticise the guy and tell the
Yeah.
guy that you know better, because unfortunately, unless you've won a Champions League final, you don't know
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Ultimately, reality wise, that's
Yeah.
the truth of the situation. That's you can't, you can't. It's
Yeah.
like someone that's never run a business giving you business advice. What do they know? Like, I mean, you can,
Well, that's
they
it.
might know a few things or have picked up a few things from other people or heard things, but to actually, it's like, people say, oh, you don't need to break your leg to know that it hurts. No, but you need to break it. But having broken your leg, you'll know how to recover having your leg broken quicker. That's why the more and more football goes on, injuries heal quicker and quicker because they find new ways and the new methods because they learn. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think he needs an arm around the shoulder, and I think hopefully
yeah,
Arteta can provide that. I mean, Arteta seems to be quite good at that sort of thing. But arm around his shoulder, just say you are a fantastic talent. Look at what you've done so far in your Arsenal time that you've been at the club, and hopefully that will bring him back to form. And he can regain his confidence, because we saw the same with Gabriel Jesus. Unfortunately, until his terrible injury, which is very, very sad for him on a personal and a professional level as well. But players can come back into form. All it takes is a shot that hits you on the leg and just sort of squirts into the bottom corner, and your confidence is back. But anyway, I think we've had a really good chat about the Arsenal Spurs game. I'm pleased we got the win. I think it's a really important victory for the club, and onwards to Saturday. And I think let's hope we can do the job again on Saturday afternoon. Marty, thank you so much again for joining this afternoon, and I will see
pleasure.
you
And
very
we'll
soon.
I'll catch you on the Aston Villa preview show on Friday afternoon.
Absolutely. Yeah, look forward to that. For all the viewers, please hit the 3-punch combination, like, subscribe, and get your comments in so we can talk football, which is what we love doing. Okay, take care, everybody, and have a good evening.
Peace.